Hey guys, the saltiest Sean here, and Blizzard just confirmed that they are making a classic fresh server. So I thought I'd make a video on what we should expect. Before we get started, if you could follow all the socials on screen to help grow my channel, it'd be awesome. Thank you. Here is my presentation on what must happen for Classic WoW to succeed. Blizzard doesn't care. Blizzard has been very rocky and unstable towards Classic WoW, and all I mean to say is just that we should be cautiously optimistic while moving forward into Classic Fresh. But can they improve? What did they do right? Layering was a huge help in preventing overly long queues, excluding launch of course, and just making sure that we were able to play the game with our friends. No changes did work at first, even though it was a flawed player-led movement. Blizzard still actually listened to us. I know, crazy, them listening to us before a game comes out. They didn't monetize it unfairly as we all feared that they would until TBC. Now next, let's move on to Classic WoW's failures. So this is a slide on, from my perspective, what needs to be fixed. Now, the leveling in Classic is great. It's really its biggest strength. Going from level 1 to 60 is its own journey with ups and downs and all of that. However, if they plan on doing a cyclical release of Classic, i.e. once a year or once every 2 years kind of thing, they should really increase the leveling because it just takes so long to get from 1 to 60 that if you're spending like a month or 2 months out of a year to be playing the game at level 60, I just don't see how that would be beneficial for many players. PvP releases were kinda dangerous. Phase 2 almost nuked the entire player base. Now this is a change that maybe not a lot of people would like, but maybe we should have Battlegrounds as soon as the honor system is implemented. Also, we just need Blizzard to be better. It should not have taken an entire year for them to fix the world buff issue. Hope versus need. What can we hope for? Now when I say hope, I mean what can players loosely expect to see in the game that could make it better? It's not a necessity though. Changing summoning stones to work like they do in TBC would be a great change, and I don't think many warlocks would complain. Rebalance everything a little bit. Now, I put this down as hope because I don't think that the game needs it to be successful, but it would be really nice if even just Rep Paladins or Moonkins or things like that, or Shadow Priests and Ferals, just got like one little buff somewhere that could really help balance the game out a little better. Now, I say that Arena is a hope personally just because I don't know if adding Arena would just make Classic better. I think it would, but would it save the game is my real thought process there. Guild Banks is another thing where it's like, there's nothing wrong with adding this, but it's not gonna take away if we don't add it, really. After playing Classic for an entire year without instant mail, I realized instant mail is just better. Like, why would I want to wait an hour? Even if I say I'm going to go and find someone in the open world and trade something, instant mail basically accomplishes the same thing. Harder dungeons / heroic modes. Now this is a bigger change, and that's why I put it in the hope category, because I don't know how many people would actually enjoy this, but I know personally that I am not a big raider when it comes to WoW in general. So if they added a harder, more hardcore heroic 5-man dungeon mode that I could tank as a feral druid or level up an alt Ret Pally to just deep dick, that would be so much fun in my opinion. Now, I even thought about the idea of a Mythic Plus, but I don't know, I mean, asking a bunch of Classic Andes to put in Mythic Plus sounds a little scary, so who knows. Removing spell batching, I mean, they kind of already did this a lot at the end of the Classic patch with Chrono Boon and all that, but just get rid of it. We don't need it, and it's not helping anyone. Now, new raids or harder raids could be on the need category. However, I don't think harder raids is a necessity, but new raids definitely could be, because if everyone is just playing the same raids, not that many people are gonna come back. New content versus zones. This is sort of in the same category as new raids, and the reason I put it as hope, because if we rely on Blizzard to make new content for Classic WoW, they could ruin it, and I just think in general, not many of us trust Blizzard right now. Crafting like in TBC. I think overall crafting is really good in vanilla, but the main issue is once you get to raids, crafting just stops being important. I know for me personally, I was a leather worker and I made all my devil sword gear, and then once I did that, that was kind of it. I couldn't make any purples, whereas in TBC at 375, there were best in slots. Like my friend Bald Pally, he was a blacksmith and he could make his 375 purple mace. I don't remember what it's called, but it was something just really epic, like Thunder Mace or whatever. Adding crafting like in TBC, where you have big items that you can work towards that are either best in slot or close to best in slot, would be nice. What do we need for the game to be good? World buffs have to be fixed. Now, the Chrono Boon issue was a good band-aid solution, but if we are starting fresh, I think overall with world buffs, they should just not work in raids. And maybe even dungeons. I'm not sure. But I definitely still think that they should be in the game. They should either just only work in the zone you get them in, or just not have them work in any instanced content. Now, competitive modes, arena, RBG, PvE, this is what I was talking about with the whole Mythic Plus arena rated battlegrounds situation. This is something I think Classic needs, but I don't know a whole lot about that side of World of Warcraft. I've never been the super high-end competitive player doing PvP, doing battlegrounds, doing Mythic Plus, Mythic 20s. I've never really done that. And so I don't know if that's really something we need, but it is definitely something that a competitive audience needs if they are going to be playing Classic for the rest of their life. I think the debuff limit should just be removed. It's sort of the same thing with spell batching. It made sense at the beginning of Classic with no changes, but now that we're making the game more modernized, I just don't think we need it. Just get rid of the bots. I mean, how hard is it to just see someone botting and just hit delete? Like, what? No mage boosting. This is one of the things that personally I liked least, and I did it a few times just to see how bad it was, and it's so much better than regular leveling, and yet it is so much less fun. You're not even playing the game. Now, again, mage boosting is still better than just paying Blizzard to boost your character, but it's so dumb, and honestly, the people who are going to be playing Classic fresh anyways probably are going to be very casual people. Change things affected by layering, such as Black Lotus spawns, or big packs of mobs that group in the same area so that mages have less of an advantage by layer hopping. Now, I don't even know if layering will return to Classic Fresh, if it will even need it, if there will be a player base for it, but it is something to definitely be wary of. Layering did allow some people to have weird advantages that I don't think that they should have. Now, you can't see it because it's under my webcam here, but it says bulletin board style group finder. All I want for this to be is exactly how it is in retail, where you can create a group and list it, and people will join your group for like legacy content if you're going to do legacy raids. I do not want a dungeon finder. You should not be able to get more loot or instantly teleport to the dungeon, because that just kills all social interaction. Again, you can't see it because of my webcam, but it says treat the game like OSRS. It's time for Classic WoW to modernize. Classic WoW needs to be treated like a modern game with a development cycle, balance patches, bug fixing, and they need to listen to the player base. Now, how old school RuneScape handles this is they have the whole polling system, and they have the players vote on what kind of content they want to see. And I think that that could be something really cool. Also, Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy, they're both fully modern MMOs with crazy things, like there's jumping puzzles and transmog. And I'm not saying we should add that, I'm just saying we need to have a modern mindset when treating with Classic WoW. It needs a modern perspective, but the old classic experience. Things like Discord exist. Metas do exist. People unanimously think that warriors are the best class. Now, just because they're wrong and they don't realize that the druids will rise up, doesn't mean that their points aren't valid. Ultimately, Classic Fresh could bring back backbone players. Classic Fresh could help slowly, over time, rebuild the name of World of Warcraft. And I just want to say really quickly, if you hate Blizzard and you don't want to return to WoW, then I don't think you should. Classic Fresh won't change that for you. I would like to make a note that I saw a lot of content creators who said that they wouldn't be returning to Classic WoW, and this really caught me off guard. It didn't really make sense to me, but then I realized that most of them had played since day one to Molten Core all the way through Naxxramas, and this was very different from my experience. I really only got to see the beginning and a bit of halfway through of the expansion, with a lot of breaks in between. I also only ever raided super casually. I only did like 2 ZG raids because I was scared to try out raiding on my own without any guildies. When Classic WoW came out, it was my senior year of high school, and it came out a week before school started. So I really only had that week to be a full degen and go super hard in Classic, which meant I only got to like level 30. And then I got really busy and did all the things in my senior year up until COVID hit and ruined my high school experience. But over time, slowly throughout 2020, I got to level up and get to 60, and I basically made it to level 60 but a little bit before Naxxramas came out. So that's something I hope I can get out of Classic Fresh. I really want to do the raids like Molten Core and Onyxia and all those things. And I also want to try out new classes. Like, I had leveled both a rogue and a paladin to about level 30. But I'm curious if I might pick up a new class or something. I think I'm mostly just going to be leveling in Classic Fresh. But I am excited to see what I can experience and enjoy. And that's all I have for you today. I really appreciated all the feedback I got from the first Classic WoW video I made. It was kind of crazy to see so many views for my channel, but also it was interesting that it was very 50-50 on whether people liked it or not. And I realized that people disagreed with my opinion, and if you did, that's okay. But I really appreciate everything that you guys all said, and I really appreciate you guys sharing the videos and getting it to 2,000 views. That's crazy for me. So I hope you guys are either looking forward to Classic Fresh or are enjoying other games. Personally, I've been playing a lot of Guild Wars 2, and I really enjoy that game. And as always, stay salty and thanks for watching.